Okay, we're done with, what I did was I dug out deeper. So how you do that is just kind of push your knife a little bit on one side and on the other, meet it in the center there. And that works out pretty well. I took a little more off on the sides, and I'm going to do a little bit more again because it's not exactly as, it looks a little blocky, so I'm going to just bring this down a little bit more. There we go. Yes, my thumb, it did not happen from carving. It happened from getting it caught in a door. So some of you have experienced that. It's not pleasant. But anyway, what we have here is we're just going to keep trimming up a little bit more. And what we have to do is we've got to cut the butt down a little bit more, so the back end. So what we're going to do is just take your knife and kind of just chop a couple of pieces off of here. It's way too big. If you like it that way, you can leave it like it, but like it that. But I prefer to trim it down a little bit more. We'll probably end up doing, see how I'm going against the grain, so I've got to go the other way. See how I flip my knife over? I could feel it that I couldn't get it through the wood. And see, if you do that, you're going to chip it out just like I did, which is okay. And for this, because I want to take a good amount of it off. Again, we're going to come down here. We're going to chop this down and under. Now, our line was here somewhere. We'll put that back on. I was going to go ahead and follow that line, but that's really hard to do for such the length of time that we were digging around here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do this. Take a look at this. Do that and come up here like so and kind of match that to the other side. Alright, this is your center line. Remember, this was your corner. You maybe want to mark your center line there at the top, just as a reference point, because that will go, see, this is your corner all the way down. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to kind of push my knife and start working around that line that I did, that I created. And we're going to go in here like that. Now you can take the tip of your knife and follow it around and then cut it out if you want, whichever is easiest for you. Sometimes I find this is easy as well, just to go in here and kind of follow the line out a little bit and then cut from the other side. Whatever it takes to cut it, you know. You'll find what's comfortable for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start taking the tip of my knife and I'm going to follow this. Now you don't want to follow it like this. You don't want to follow it like this. You want to go straight in. You want that completely straight in. Okay, we're going to follow that line out. And then I'm going to follow that out by cutting up to it and taking it out. Now up here it's easier to take the tip of your knife. See, I'm using the back side to slide it along. That way you're not cutting into it. Okay, and then we're going to, I think I already did it from this side, but let's redo it again. Now you're going to go in pretty far because all this has to come out. And I'm going to keep digging in here for a while. That's why some of this I can do off camera, because it's just takes so much time to do it in front of the camera. But you know, all this has to come out. This has to be flat and straight right in here. This all will come out. All that will come out. Alright. Now, some of you have gouges, some of you do not have gouges. I try to do everything with a knife, so if you're a beginner, that you know how to do it with a knife, because not everybody will be able to afford the gouges, not everybody has gouges, not everybody's comfortable with using gouges. I've gotten really comfortable using the V-tool, and for years, folks, I really denied myself that pleasure of using one simply because I refused to get used to it, or thought they were too hard to maintain, and they are hard to maintain. The V-tools are not as simple as to sharpen, I'll grant you that, but what you can do with them and the texturing you can do with them, it's excellent. And we're gonna do a lot of V-tool work with this piece when we get it up to where I need to here in the back. As you can see, it's taking me a while to cut that all out, and it's not always easy with the camera right in front of my face to see it, so I'm doing the best I can here. Let's see. Let's cut that out. We're going to go further in anyway with that, so. Alright. So what we're doing is just continue to flatten this out back here, and you keep working at it, keep fussing with it. I know it's not going to be easy at times with the knife to get in there. The nice thing about the Murphy knife that I use, it has a little extra reach. The handle's a little thinner. If you have too thick of a handle like this one, it's kind of hard to get in there because it lays on there a little bit. So, and then we're going to do the same thing with the front. We're going to mark off. I kind of already did that up here. Mark this back off, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to take the knife and we're going to just go straight in. You don't want to go at an angle. I'm sorry, you don't want to go into an angle. You want to go straight in from the corner. Okay, that's the angle you want. Is parallel with the corner. So you're going to follow this out, up and around the head. And please, when you do this kind of a cut, just take your time. Don't try to make the one cut in one shot. You're going to go back over it several times anyway. Just take your time, get your first initial cut in there. It doesn't have to be real deep, just that you have the guideline to start. Okay? If it doesn't look right, like it doesn't look right on this side, I'm going to have to redo that line. If you go too deep, you're not going to be able to do that. You're not going to have to relocate that line if you need to do that. This again, you're going to take the tip of your knife, you're going to go up with the grain. What I'm doing here. Now this is going to be flared outward, back. This is going to be kind of punched in or pushed in flat. So this is going to flare out, and we're going to taper this all off when we get to this point. We might end up taking this back a little bit, so it's a little more of a. You'll see what I'm talking about when we actually do it. But right now I'm trying to get the body out here. Trying not to pull like I did there. Let the knife do the work. Makes the life a lot easier. Okay. Now if you do it this way, just be so careful. If you go back to the head, that you don't put a lot of lines in the head. You don't want that. That will show up when you paint. So you want to be careful just going along the sides. So see, we've got this portion out. We're going to blend all this in eventually. We're going to round this off a little bit more. We're going to take off all that hard stuff from the bandsaw or the saw cuts here. We want a smooth area, because if you go to paint it, it's going to be darker. So you want to be careful not to do that. We're going to take this little edge off here in the front. Okay. Worry about the bill and that later. We're just trying to get the body taken care of first. Alright, we'll be right back.